here with Zenergy to Go. Wanted to show you a little bit of myofascial release and or trigger point techniques for your upper back, maybe a little shoulder girdle, to release some tension in the rib cage area and in the shoulders. One, where we hold tension, and two, it might allow a little bit more freedom with your breathing. So with that in mind, you can have a fairly hard surface. A yoga mat's nice, a tennis ball or a softball. Mostly what we're going to get today, I think a tennis ball is going to be plenty. So with that in mind, let's get started. If I look at your back, and here's your shoulder blade, and here's your spine, we're going to set the ball between the shoulder blade and the spine. We're going to use a couple different techniques, some movement and just holding stationary. We're going to hit three different spots. Okay, so you're going to hit that inferior angle of the shoulder blade between the shoulder blade and the spine first. We'll hang out there for a while. Then you're going to hit that spot right in the middle of the shoulder blade, but between the shoulder blade and the spine. And then up on top. Okay? I'm showing you because once you're on your back, it'll be hard to see. Let's get started. You're going to set that tennis ball on the floor. And my right side is to your camera, so we'll reference that. You're going to find that spot at the bottom of the shoulder blade that's between the shoulder blade and the spine. And it's probably going to be uncomfortable. You're going to set your hips down, see if you can roll the tops of your shoulders toward the floor, arms at your sides. Lengthen your neck, slightly tuck the chin, reach through the crown of the head. So that discomfort zone should be somewhere between a 6 and an 8 out of 10. Okay, if you go straight to 10, body's probably going to go into defense mode. We're not going to get the benefits we are looking for. So try 6 to 8 on that discomfort zone, and then we'll feel it dissipate. We're going to do a couple different things here. Let's take that arm that's out to the side. Draw a diagonal line across your chest and up past the opposite shoulder. Let's do that 3 or 4 times. Just checking into how the sensation moves in those rhomboids between the shoulder blade and the spine. Where do you feel it more? Where do you feel it less? Almost pumping a little heat into there. And then we rest that arm down, reset your hips, reset the tops of the shoulders, let them fall, lengthen the neck. And then if you feel like, I could really use just a little bit more intensity, you could press into your feet. And you don't have to press hard. You can just press into those feet. Maybe your hips lift. Maybe you just tilt the pelvis enough to feel a little bit more intensity in those rhomboids. We hang out here from 30 to 60 seconds. For me, it's a little inconvenient to look at a clock, so I've learned to count my breaths. I know that about 5 long, comfortable breaths is somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds. We've been here a while. Let's take 2 more good breaths. It's also a subtle way to expand and release while you're here. And then we'll take your hands to just above your shoulders, press into the floor with your hands and your feet, slide your hips toward your heels, and now that tennis ball is going to move up a rib or 2. It's going to move up an inch or 2. It's still between the shoulder blade and the spine. Now it's more towards the middle of the shoulder blade. Readjust your hips. Drop the tops of the shoulders. Slightly tuck the chin, reach through the crown of the head, so we reset. Now that arm on that side comes out to a T. Then draw your line across the ceiling, straight across the chest. You almost wrap the shoulder blade around that tennis ball. And just check in with the sensations. Again, a 6 to 8 out of 10 on the discomfort zone. So if it's too intense, just move up or down a tiny bit. Find a place that is doable, and we'll sneak into it. Open the arm out to the side, let the arm be heavy, shoulders fall, Decide if you need to push into your feet at all. Maybe the hips need to lift. Find your space. Check to see that you're breathing. One more good breath. If you lifted your hips, set them down. Take your hands to just above the shoulders again, so you can press into the floor with hands and feet. Slide your sit bones towards your heels. Now you're at that top angle, right at the top of the shoulder blade, between the shoulder blade and the spine. And that, you should feel that. Being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Let the tops of the shoulders fall. Settle your hips squarely. Get as long and neutral as you can. Take that arm up to a diagonal. Draw that diagonal line across the torso to opposite hip. And then up to a diagonal again. You guys might get to meet Butch today. Hi, sweetheart. And then across. And one more time. Thank you. And then hold it up to a diagonal. Okay, that's good, sweetie. Move, move. Thank you. Let your shoulders fall. Open up your chest. So yes, we're releasing the upper back. We're also opening up the chest across the front of the shoulders. Finding some freedom in the rib cage and the lungs. Maybe push into your feet. Let's go one more good breath here. And then release. We'll take your arm wherever it's comfortable. And we're just going to wiggle around. So pretend you're Snoopy. Hopefully this doesn't make my dog go nuts. We're going to roll around across the shoulder blade, the back of the shoulder, and just find some heat, a little massage, and move it around. And then we're going to turn towards your screen and pretend you could peel your shoulder blade away from your ribs. And we're going to place that tennis ball right between where the shoulder blade meets the ribs. So take a moment to find that spot, and you'll find it. And then when you're there, you can make a pillow with your arm, rest your head down. That's not your ball. Breathe into it, 30 to 60 seconds. This is a pretty intense spot for me. So see if you can find that place, 6 to 8 out of 10. And then notice as you breathe and as you let gravity do its job, that discomfort begins to dissipate. And then we'll find one more spot. So decide if you need to take it down a little or up a little, an inch or so. Find your spot. Get heavy. Try not to create tension in someplace else in the body, right? So take it out of your neck. Try not to make a fist or clench your jaw. We want to release, let go, breathe. Since I've started doing these videos, Butch has become a lovely assistant. I think he's a ham. All right, one more good breath. And then we're going to find one spot. So if you know the back of your shoulder, your deltoid, you're going to find a pocket where that tennis ball just kind of falls into, right? Find it, Set your arm out in front of you. Rest your head on a block. Support your head with the top arm, wherever your neck is comfortable. And then maybe turn it palm up, palm down. Thank you. Maybe bend your elbow, palms towards your knees, and then press that hand a little bit more towards your knees. I guess it's only fair since I am using his balls. And release. And come on up. And you're going to lie down on your back. I'm going to flip around. I guess it doesn't make a huge difference on what you can see when we're on our backs, so I guess I'll stay here. Hi, sweetheart. Yes, you're awfully cute. You're going to find the other side. So left side, bottom of the shoulder blade between the spine, then middle, then high. Then we'll wiggle it around, and then we'll get the outer edge of your shoulder blade. I am going to flip around so that I'm facing you when we hit the outer edge of the shoulder blade. Inferior angle of the shoulder blade. Between the spine and the shoulder blade, let your hips settle. Let the shoulders fall down. Oh my. Find your breath. Lengthen your spine. Take that hand down by your hip and then draw a diagonal line across the torso. Up and down. And a diagonal. Just checking into what's happening through that range of motion. Where is it more intense? Where is it easy? It's just good information for you. And then let your arm rest down. Tops of the shoulders fall down again. Settle into the back of the hips. Lengthen your neck. 30 to 60 seconds. Count your breaths. Find easy breathing. Finding as long and neutral of a spine as you can with the tennis ball under your back. Okay, move up here. Come on. There you go. Up here. Move it. Come on. Here. Here. There we go. Couple more breaths. And then we'll take your hands, place them by your shoulder, press into your hands and your feet, slide your sit bones a little bit more towards your heels so that that ball rolls up a rib or two. It rolls up an inch or two, and that arm comes out to a T. Settle into shoulders and hips. Draw that straight line across the ceiling, across the chest. Wrap the shoulder blade around that ball. And it's interesting how very different one side can feel to the other. Tune into that. One more time. And then let that arm rest to the side. Tops of the shoulders fall, lengthen the neck. And breathe. Comfortable, long, easy breaths. Inhale and exhale. 2 more times. And then we'll hit one more spot. You're going to take your hands to your shoulders, press into the floor with hands and feet, slide your sit bones toward your heels one more time. That tennis ball moves up a rib or two, up an inch or two. So now it's more towards the top of the shoulder blade, between the shoulder blade and the spine. Your arm comes up to a diagonal. Settle the shoulders, settle the hips, lengthen the neck, and then draw that diagonal line across the body to the opposite hip. And open and fall. 3 more times. more. And then we let the arm get heavy. The tops of the shoulders drop toward the floor. Maybe slightly tuck the chin, reach through the neck. Maybe you need a little bit more, so you press into your feet. I don't know. One more good breath here. And relax. Okay, my apologies. The pets are going to join us today. So, wiggle it around. Pretend you're Snoopy. Move it around that shoulder blade, up across maybe that lower part of the traps, the rhomboids, maybe all the way over to the rear delt. Where do you need it? Create some heat, some softness, and release. All right, now we'll hit the outer edge of that shoulder blade. So again, pretend you could peel your shoulder blade away from your ribs and set that softball or tennis ball right in that spot. Support your head with a block, a roller, a ball, so that your neck can relax and you can let gravity do its job. Just breathe into it. Find your spot, a 6 to 8 on that discomfort scale. And then we're going to find one more spot. So if you can move up or down just a bit, find your spot. An inch or two, you'll find it. So move around until you find that spot once again. And settle in. Get heavy. Your shoulders are stacked, your ribs are stacked, your hips are stacked. This neck is relaxed. We breathe easy for timing, or we breathe easy just as a reminder to find that balance in intensity. And then we'll go one more spot. So you're going to find that spot behind the deltoid. Maybe find it's a pocket, as Corey described it, and I really liked that. You just find that pocket where it slips into. Set your arm out in front of you. And then play with palm up or palm down. Maybe bend your elbow. Maybe a sleeper stretch. This shoulder for me is sensitive, so it's not going to go very far. Couple more breaths. And then we relax. Okay, and then one more spot. So we got upper back, we got rhomboids, we got a little bit into the shoulder girdle. And I like to balance whenever we do shoulders by getting into your hips. So if you'll roll to your back, decide if it's a tennis ball or a softball that you need. You're going to settle into the floor, get your hips even, get the shoulder blades flat, and then press into your feet so that you can set that tennis ball or the softball into that meaty part of the glute, right? Just to the side of your sacrum, behind the hip joint. You're going to settle into your hips, get heavy, and you should immediately feel it. Should be, again, that 6 to 8. Find your spot if you need to move a little bit, and then let your knee drop to the side. And that's probably going to make it even more intense. Release your hip, your inner thigh, and hang out. It's all connected. Hopefully you're enjoying some heat and sensations through the upper back and the shoulders. And now we'll release the hips, at least a couple of spots here. I mean, we could spend an hour on every single spot. So just touching on some places that get bound up. Use your hand to bring it up. Let's find an inch to one side or up or down. Drop your hip into it. There you go. Find another spot and then let your knee fall to the side. Oh boy, there it is. Come back to your breath. Breath can be a guide. If you're holding your breath, maybe it's too intense. Maybe you could move up, down, or to one side, just a centimeter or two to sneak into it a bit more, to gain a little trust from your body. One more good breath. Take the hand to the outer thigh, bring your knee up. We'll hit the other side to balance it out. So take your tennis ball to that meaty part of the glute, right behind the hip, just to the side of the sacrum. Set your weight down and you should find a good spot. If you need to move it around a little, find your spot. Once you found it, let your knee drop to the side. More than likely, it's going to be a little bit more intense there. Did your shoulders curl up? Try to release tension anywhere else in the body. Wiggle your jaw. Make sure you wiggle your hands, your toes. Settle in. 2 more breaths. Move. 1 more. And then we'll use your hand to bring the knee back up, push into the feet so that you can move that tennis ball out to the side a little bit more, maybe up, maybe down, just an inch or so. Get heavy, let the knee fall to the side. Wow. Yes, anybody else holding a little tension there? Hopefully we'll get it to release. You start on that 6 to 8 on the discomfort scale and you allow it to dissipate. Breathe easy. One more long, easy breath. And relax. Let's bring your knee back up. You're going to come up to a seated position, so find the easiest way to do so. And I'd love for you to just check in for a moment. Notice how the hips are square. If you feel some freedom in the spine, even though we didn't actually move right in this area, you should feel some freedom. Should feel some heat and some sensations across the shoulder blades, the back of the shoulders, and some freedom in the rib cage area. Some heat and some freedom in the hips, releasing some of that tension. Let's match it. We'll just get into your neck with just a couple of things and then we'll be done with this section for today. So we'll sweep your arms out and up on a giant inhale. Exhale, the hands behind your head. Realign ribs over hips. Drop your shoulders down. Grow taller through the crown of the head. Then from there, tilt your chin to your chest. Let your arms be heavy. Now we get to release the neck. On your next inhale, level the chin. Turn to one side. Take a look at that underarm. Readjust your hands so that the arms can hang from your head. Maintain gorgeous posture. Let your shoulders fall. Lift. Turn and look to the other direction. Readjust your hands. Maintain your long spine as your shoulders and your arms get heavy. And lift. And back to center one last time. Reset. Drop the shoulders. Tuck the chin. Arms hang from your head rather than tugging or pulling. Some will feel this in their neck. Some will feel it down in those rhomboids that we got with the tennis ball. Some will feel it all the way down into the low back. It's all good information. Now dig your fingers into the back of your head. Walk them down to either side of the cervical spine, on each side of the neck. Give yourself a little massage. Keep digging the fingers in all the way down to the traps. Then pull your elbows down as you dig your fingers in and